And we're live. Greetings, Koopalings. 'Tis I, Donnie Reese, over here at the Play Some Video Games Podcast Network, Psvg Podcast Proper, the only gaming podcast that falls apart when Kevin Austin decides to go on vacation or leaves us on hiatus. That's right, your fearless leader has he's out. He's like, I'm out this week. I think he's out like another week in a couple weeks, and another week he's just going off, spreading his wings, doing new things. Seth, however, answered the call. Thanks for coming, buddy.
Glad to be here.
Yeah,
I have to step up when Kevin drops the ball.
That's it.
So.
That's it. And it's just us. We invited a couple folks. Everybody's got life things going on, which is good because I typically enjoy doing two-person podcasts. Specifically, I've always enjoyed doing with Jason. I like doing with Devin, and Devin was my first offer, but Devin couldn't make it. So it's just going to be you and I rapping this evening.
All right, sounds good.
Okay, yeah.
If I were a singer, I would start singing just the two of us, but I'm not.
That's good stuff.
Not feeling it right now. I haven't
heard that song in a while. Dude, it's Friday night, man. I need you to pep up a little bit. You're on a podcast with Playing Nintendo. Ain't no G's in Playing Nintendo.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So
I'm used to doing this at 6 a.m. now.
That's true. That's brutal. I don't see how you PSXP do that. Anyways, we're gonna get into what we've been playing, and I'm gonna start off because I haven't been playing anything. Playing the Far Cry. That's really all I can play, or that's can play is not the right words. It's all I'm playing when I can play. Interesting thing has happened to me is for the past couple months, I've been having like these terrible aches and pains in my hands and my wrists. And I went to the doctor finally. After trying to do all of the YouTube self-diagnosis and blog self-diagnosis that my wife and I could muster, I was like, I need to go talk to somebody. And my doctor has informed me that I have cubital tunnel syndrome. Are you familiar with what that is?
I'm not. I'm guessing it has something to do with carpal tunnel.
Kind of. It's like the opposite, or it's like the opposite of much. So like carpal tunnel typically runs. Let me see if I can get the thing here. So carpal tunnel runs like across the forearm and down into the fingers, right?
Okay.
Cubital tunnel is on the opposite side of the arm. The nerve runs across the elbow, and typically it runs between your pinky and your ring finger. So the nerve runs from here up the right side of the hand, under the elbow, under the forearm, up to the shoulder.
Okay.
I have it in both hands, both arms. And it basically just comes from exhaustion of the nerve, exhaustion of the muscles, just inflamed muscles. For those of you that still don't know what I do, I type all day. That's all I do. I type on Discord, I type for my office, I code, I type emails, I type site articles. Like for the last, honestly, since PSVG, which is what, 3 years, 2.5 years, something like that.
Yeah, it's going on. Let's see, my daughter's 18 months, and I've been around. It's 2 years. Been over 2 years. Yeah.
So for the better part of the last 2 years, I've probably typed 90% of 10 hours a day.
Jeez.
And then before that, maybe the last 10 years, I was doing that at least 5 hours a day or 8 hours a day, basically most of the time when I'm at work. So apparently it's just kind of caught up to me. My doctor said, you just need rest. She's like, that's really what you need. There is surgery for it, but they don't want to do anything like that unless it gets really bad. So they gave me some medicine, and they were like, you need to rest. And I was like, well, unfortunately, my job isn't one that lets me do that. So I'm doing like the voice to text stuff at the office, which is weird because everybody can hear what I'm talking and texting and typing all the time. So that's a little odd. But I'm honestly trying to keep my hands and arms free of as much as possible lately. So I don't know how that's going to do with video games. Like she told me, because I told her, I was like, I play a lot of video games. She's like, you should stop, because moving your hands, moving your fingers, right, tenses all those muscles all the way up. So
you need what's that company that makes the they work with people to make the video game controllers so that like paraplegics. So
wow, yeah. I mean,
I forget what
there's a
called.
cubital tunnel control.
There, what's that? I don't know. there's a company. It's a charity, and they make the accessible controllers.
Mm.
You need one you can control with your chin.
There you go. Or my eyes. I just look and it does it.
Yeah,
That'd be a
yeah.
sweet controller.
There you go. Play Dark Souls like that. There
Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. So anyway, if anybody out there types that much or plays that much games, I mean, maybe think about it. Maybe giving yourself some rest. All of a sudden, those "we go outside" messages don't seem so terrible, right?
You see, you're going to be on the PSA of
yes.
When you play too many video games.
Wear the wrist strap. The wrist
you're
strap
gonna have you're gonna have two. You have your arms in slings, and
you have like this click it or ticket wrist strap PSA. It's like, hey, if you don't wear the wrist strap, ultimately, what I've been doing is I have like these braces that I sleep with at night. So basically, what I basically want to do is I don't want to do any of this as much as possible, and I don't want to do any of like this. I don't want to like bend at the elbow or like make a fist. So the idea is to keep my arm like as flat as possible, my hand spread like as long as possible, not doing anything. That said, when I came home from the doctor, I played Everybody's Golf. I was like, this isn't so bad. Like I pressed like one button, like I could do that with like a joystick and one finger. And then I've been playing Far Cry. I played Far Cry today when I came home. I didn't play anything basically from like Tuesday to today. Okay. So I didn't play anything. I did take like a little hiatus. I was like, all right, I'm not going to play anything at all. I've been doing the voice to type and I can report that my arms are getting better. I've also been icing twice a day, whereas typically I'd only ice like when it got really bad. Now I ice my hands at lunch and I ice them as soon as I get home. So,
okay. Jeez.
Yeah, getting better. So long, sad, sappy story aside, Seth, what have you been playing?
Well, I talked a little bit on Wednesday, PSXP, about a couple games I've been playing. One MX versus ATV. It's a fun arcade dirt bike game. In thinking about it, don't think I've played a dirt bike game since Excite Bike. If that even counts compared to what they have today. So it's been fun. It's a bit it's definitely arcadey, has been a bit buggy. The only times I've tried to do online races, one time I found one person and the other times it wouldn't connect. So I don't know. So we'll see, but it's a fun game if you're looking for an arcadey thing. And then Ni no Kuni 2. I played a little bit more of that this morning and was able to get my stream working. So there's some of that up on the Psvg YouTube.
I've been watching you play.
It's fun. I like it. I would think that you would like it a lot.
And I enjoyed my time with the first one.
Okay.
Yeah, I enjoyed my time with the first one.
And I never played the first one.
I never beat the first one. And I was really excited for Ni no Kuni like last year when we thought it was coming.
Yeah.
And then as it kind of got delayed, more and more things fit the bill. And I was actually, one of the things I was going to say now is that right now I'm kind of like in this weird place where Xenoblade I couldn't do, and I couldn't do Persona because of the time sinks that both of them, like I felt like I had to commit to. And I'm even kind of scared of Ni no Kuni. I'm like, maybe I just don't have time for these right now.
And I, according to the counter, I'm about 6 hours in. From what I understand, it can be beaten in about 30 hours.
That's not so bad. No.
At 30, and even if that pushes up to 40, depending on how much side stuff you do or whatever, but it's more in that ballpark than in the 100+ hour ballpark.
I think Far Cry is going to take me longer than that to beat.
Probably. Especially if you get on, I don't know how much you're getting on and playing with other people, or if that's part of it too, but doing stuff other than the main mission kind of stuff. But I've been having fun. It's a really easy game. Just the combat, I've run into no challenge so far. I think I've died once, and that was just one character died, and so the other characters were able to keep fighting. Then when you die, you just switch to another character and you keep going.
It's very pretty.
Oh yeah, it's a gorgeous game, and especially when you get to the nighttime and there's the bright lights and everything. It's a really good looking game.
Good.
My biggest, my only real complaints are the lack of voice acting. I don't know what it was like in the first game, but I expected there to be more cutscenes, or it looks like you're playing a cartoon, except then there's all this really tiny, like 6-point font scrolling across your screen.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a pain to read because it goes fast, and there's just not as much voice acting as I thought there would be. And then and that it's a little bit too easy. But that's not it's not a terrible thing, coming off of playing Celeste and Mutant Mudds. It's not a bad thing to have a little bit of an easier game occasionally.
I like easy games.
Yeah.
I don't like struggling my way through them. How's the story? How's the carrot on the end of the stick? Do you feel compelled to finish it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pushing forward right now. I'm, the character, the little cat boy, Evan, is the king, and he loses his kingdom, and then you go out and you're trying to establish a new kingdom, and that's basically where I am. I wouldn't say the story's amazing, but it's a pretty simple story of, I mean, that's what the story is. You lose your kingdom, and now, in his motivation is he wants to be king of the world so that everybody will be happy.
Sure.
I'm not sure that's going to be, but I don't know. It's fun. It's it's an action RPG, so it's a lot of button mashing, but it's fun. I mean, that's what it is. So, and then on Nintendo Switch, I've been playing Shantae, and the Pirate's Curse, and I'm almost done with that. I think I just have the last boss to do, and I've enjoyed it. It's not my favorite of the side-scrolling games, that I have played recently between Mutant Mudds and Celeste, but it's been fun. I've enjoyed it. I'm glad that I got in on it. So
cool. Well, there you have it. I was gonna say, if I was thinking, like, do I have any more questions for you for Ni no Kuni? But I mean, I kind of followed the development of that pretty closely, especially like with Kyle. I mean, I feel like I know everything I need to know about it. It's just, yeah, I don't know when I'm gonna get to it. It's one of those games I think I'll get to it, but I don't know when.
I just you like Persona, right?
Yes, I love Persona. I wish,
and not that I mean the story and the style of Persona and the story and the style of Ni no Kuni almost couldn't be any different from each other.
Sure.
But they're both Japanese role-playing games, and I feel like, especially if it does hold to that 30-hour mark, that it's about the perfect length.
That makes me feel,
for a game.
That definitely encourages me more to play it than before. I mean, because I thought it was, just standard long JRPG stuff. So that's really good. It's good stuff. Yep. All right. Well, that's enough from us. We'll jump into Kevin's message bag here, which I'm actually really excited about because we've got some really good ones. So let me pull up my phone really quick. And, it's good for me specifically this week, having been the person that didn't play as many games as others, because we have a lot of questions that aren't game related. So that's fantastic.
All right.
Let's start with over there, Backlog Blues on Twitter wants to know what our WrestleMania predictions are, if we're looking forward to it, which matches, and he specifically asks, which match will you take a pee break on? I feel like you're going to want me to take this question. Did
you read my reply to that?
No, question? I haven't got there yet.
Oh, okay. So my reply was, my pee break will be during this question.
Oh no! For those of you that don't frequent our Discord, playsomevideogames.com, join the Discord channel. I was actually trying to talk Seth into getting WWE Network for WrestleMania. It's going to be exciting.
I watched every WrestleMania from 2004 through 2016. And then just the last couple of years, I just haven't felt like it.
So then this year, I don't think is the year to get WrestleMania per se. Mm-hmm. my kids and I got back into WrestleMania, or got back into wrestling. I got back in because of the kids. They got more into it because they're friends at school. Basically, during the Daniel Bryan story arc, as Daniel Bryan kind of took off, my kids started hearing about it. They started asking me about it because I wrestled in high school. They think that I wrestled like WWE in high school, right? So, I'll never forget that. They came home and they were like, "Dad, can you tell us about wrestling?" And having known about it from the Attitude Era, I of course I showed them the way. I was like, "Yeah, come here, let me teach you guys about wrestling." So it was amazing. We really enjoyed that. This is probably the most down I've been on a WrestleMania in the last 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
It just feels very predictable, and there doesn't appear to be any big major surprise on the horizon that most WrestleManias have. I'm sure they'll have Stone Cold or The Rock or somebody show up, but they've done that in the past, and I kind of feel like they're going back to the well. The only good thing about this WrestleMania is most of the matches should be good, and then a lot of very long kind of beating the dead horse storylines should hopefully get put to a close.
What's John Cena doing?
So that's the big prediction. So John Cena has been going on.
So they still don't know what he's.
It.
Publicly, you still don't know what he's doing.
Exactly. John Cena has been going on Raw for the last month, calling out The Undertaker, calling him old, calling him beat down, and The Undertaker hasn't answered John Cena. So the big prediction is that at WrestleMania, those two will do something. They may have a match, which would be huge, or at the very least, they'll change words, or The Undertaker will punch him. I don't know, but yeah. So John Cena is supposed to be doing something with The Undertaker, but we don't know that. The Undertaker's literally done nothing. It's been John Cena doing these solo promos for a month. Not an answer, not a bell, not the lights going off, nothing, just nothing. There's nothing from him. And I kind of think, so if I'm making my predictions, I kind of think that that's the WWE's way of trying to have like a surprise. I just don't think it's going to resonate the way that they think they are, because The Undertaker's been at every WrestleMania for the last 33 years. Like,
right.
I think it's a huge surprise to think he's going to be there at 34. It'd be one thing if he disappeared for 5 years and came back. It's another thing to expect him just to be back.
Right.
Last year,
I guess why not just promote that he's going to be there, or that
the only answer
why
that I
not
can give
just
you,
not even do any of the promos and then just have him show. I don't know.
The only answer that I have for you is by not saying he's going to be there, then they get to say that that's a surprise. Oh, look, The Undertaker showed up. Because it's already sold out. It's like there's no promoting that he's going to be there. It's not going to make anybody else, come watch. I don't think.
Right. And it's different probably with pay-per-view buys, because it's not really a pay-per-view anymore. I mean, it is, but
yeah, but it's not.
I assume that
right.
most people buy it using the network. Yeah.
So like last year, the big pop was like the Hardys came back, and they had been gone for a few years, and nobody really knew. And even the rumors didn't have a lot of weight because they were at like a Ring of Honor show the night before, going through tables and stuff. So like everybody was like, "There's no way they're there," and they totally showed up, and that was a huge crowd.
That I didn't watch last year, but after that happened, I followed it for a little bit. I still follow. I don't know. I don't know how much we've talked about it, but I used to be my first podcast that I was part of 7-8 years ago was called WrestleSpective. And it was with a coworker, and we just talked about old wrestling matches. He was a big fan of 80s wrestling, and we got into some 90s stuff, and then I was a big fan. My favorite wrestler is Kurt Angle. And so we would talk some.
And he has a match.
Yeah, I saw that. It's a tag match, right?
He is tagging with Ronda Rousey, who is the company's new shining star, against Triple H and Stephanie.
Okay.
And they'll win, because there's no way in the world. See, that's the problem. The problem with this WrestleMania is that like I would feel very confident in giving you a lot of winners. So like,
which means that you're going to be wrong somewhere, because when they're like that, they throw you a curve.
So let's go ahead and put me on blast then. I think I'll do it super fast. Finn Balor's picking up the Intercontinental. Roman Reigns is going over Brock because Brock's leaving, and Thank heaven. It's been too long. Shinsuke Nakamura is going to beat AJ Styles. In terms of the ladies, Asuka's going to win, and Nia Jax is going to beat my favorite, Alexa Bliss, and Ronda Rousey's going to win because they're going to hold her hand up high. And the only ones that I probably don't know are the Rumble winners and the 205 Live cruiserweights. Oh, and Braun Strowman's probably going to win the tag team belts on his own. Like, I think he might be the one that takes the loss, like, because he's supposed to have a mystery partner, so that mystery partner might lose for him, kicking off like a new feud. But like outside of that, I mean, I feel very confident in the winners that I picked winning, and that's 80% of the card.
Right.
The good thing is the better.
You mentioned I was going to say CM Punk, but AJ Styles and Shinsuke.
Yes.
That's going to be like the match to watch.
That's worth one watching. Yes. That's worth the $10. Now, so what I was trying to get you into, if I could do a little PSA before we move on to our next question, you should get the $10 just to watch the NXT show tomorrow night. NXT is a better show, is a better wrestling show than WWE main shows are right now. And it has been for some time, especially their takeovers or their pay-per-views. They do these takeovers. I mean, the only thing that I can really back that up is my wife has even gotten into NXT and she hates wrestling. And the last time we were watching a takeover, she was like, these guys are really good. So like NXT is like the WWE's minor leagues.
Right.
But it's not really minor leagues anymore because wrestling has become so popular and so global that they pick and choose like all of these great wrestlers from across the world. And it's kind of like their introductions. Like they introduce you to them, get you to know them. But in NXT, because apparently, I guess the rumor mill, or not the rumor mill, but this is like Triple H's baby. This is his thing. He runs creative. They wrestle a lot more. It's a lot more like what you expect. It's a lot more what you remember. It's not nearly as predictable. It doesn't follow that formula that I think many wrestling fans can see on SmackDown and Raw. It seems to be a little more unpredictable. They do a lot of more high-flying moves. It's much more brutal, and just the wrestlers are great. They're really, really good. So that show I'm looking forward to probably the most, and I cannot predict the winners of that one tomorrow. So,
cool.
Yeah.
See, the thing, number one, I'm doing this tonight. If I told the wife that tomorrow and Sunday I'm watching wrestling
all weekend,
that would not go down very well. Also, the other thing going on tomorrow night is the IndyCar race, the second IndyCar race of the season in Phoenix. It's on probably at the same time as NXT, and I can already watch that for free.
Sure.
Not that I'm probably going to, because again, if I say I'm watching the races tomorrow, then that won't go well. But I can watch the replay at some point, which is pretty much how I consume just about any sport anymore.
And I think there's a strong case to be made that wrestling is better consumed like on YouTube, because the show like WrestleMania is like 7 hours. Like if you watch the whole thing, it's so long. So like something like that, it gets really, really hard. To sit there through the whole thing. So even just being able to jump on there and see who won and get like the high spots and all that is really good.
Yeah, I usually I like going to have you ever been to 411mania.com?
No, that's a new one for me.
They've been their main thing is covering wrestling. They do some other entertainment stuff also, but they have a lot of good wrestling recaps. I like going on there. The main guy, one of the main guys' his name's Larry Zonka, not related to the Larry
That's exactly
Zonka.
where I was going.
but he does some great wrestling recaps and just talking about whether it was good or bad and the high spots, low spots. So I go on there and kind of read recaps after WrestleMania. Even still, it's been 2 years since I've watched any wrestling, and probably about 5 or 6 years since I watched it somewhat regularly. But still, I'll go on, and so I keep an eye on things. I actually, as far as online writing goes, I wrote for 411 Mania, I don't know, 10 years ago, covering, I reviewed Office episodes way back when. So you're learning a little bit about my history of online entertainment randomness.
Most likely my favorite TV show of all time. So good show to cover. Before we leave sports completely, Devin wants to know, with Kyrie out for the season, who do you have in the finals? He wants Houston and Philly. I mean, come on. Devin knows the Cavs and the Warriors are going to the finals. That's ridiculous. Get out of here. Houston might beat the Warriors, but the Warriors are shorthanded.
I have a slight confession in that I actually haven't watched basketball since Jimmy Butler got injured.
Oh no.
That really took it out of me as a Timberwolves fan. And even the Cavs, I think around the same time, were going through one of their downtimes.
Boy, they've had like 4 or 5. I feel it's like the longest Cavs season of my life.
So it was like between like Jimmy Butler got injured, which sunk my fantasy team on top of sinking whatever. And I don't even know if the Timberwolves are in the playoff hunt at this point. They might be, but they're definitely not in the at one point they were in the contention for not just the playoffs, but maybe get a first round win. And I think at this point they're done. And so kind of once that happened, I checked out. But I was disappointed Kyrie got injured. I would assume in the East, how's Toronto? I mean, usually
I mean, Toronto, they're good. They're good. Like they play defense. DeRozan can finally hit some threes, but I mean, as a Cavs fan, I got to tell you, I mean, honestly, it's not even really. I mean, I am a Cavs fan. The Cavs are good, but to be honest with you, like it's been proven for a decade. Whatever team LeBron's on, they go to the finals until otherwise proven different. You know, and it's like every year, you know, the Raptors or the Warriors or not the Warriors, the Wizards, or like this year, it's like Philly. Everybody's like, this is the new team, and it's like, but when the playoffs come and LeBron can lock in, it's not.
I haven't watched Philly in a long time. Certainly not since they've gotten really gotten on the roll.
Yeah, they beat the Cavs tonight. Actually, they beat the Cavs. They had like a 30-point lead at halftime, but the Cavs brought it all the way back to 2. But the Philly got the last basket. The Cavs are on a back-to-back, and it's the thing I've always told all my basketball friends: playoff basketball, regular season basketball, completely different things. When a team can lock in and focus on what you like to do night in and night out, it's a different game of basketball.
And I also think there's something about that. It's Philly. They're young. It's their first time in the playoffs.
Sure.
They're just that's a real thing where you don't go deep.
Well, in the playoffs, like in playoff basketball, and this is a great PSVG show, and all the video gamers out there are going to love this. In playoff basketball, the players that can go get theirs become like the greatest assets, because when defenses can lock in, it's harder. You know, spot up shooters don't get open threes in the playoffs as much. You know, like, you need isolation players. There's a reason why in the playoffs scoring comes down, games get slower because teams can lock in on you.
Yep. So speaking of basketball, if you want to keep this on video games, Shaq Fu 2 has, or whatever it's called, has a release date of what's it, June 5th, I think.
Yeah, and a price $40
for physical, $20 digital.
That's a lot for
or free if you bought NBA Playgrounds on the Switch,
which it did
at launch for the laggy, incomplete mess that it was at the time.
Yep. So I will gladly play the new free game for me.
Oh,
we'll see if it's any good.
Try it out for 10 minutes and then see what's going on. Of course, I'm actually one. I'm a fan. I loved the first game. I didn't know that it was terrible until the internet told me.
Oh, really? I never played it. I just always heard it was bad, so I never tried it.
I loved it as a kid.
Keeping over there with the backlog busters, our next question comes in from Trash Turkey, and he writes, what non-Nintendo, I'm glad he put that in there because we could go at depth with this. What non-Nintendo collections would you like to see come to the Switch? He said he missed out on TG16 growing up, so that would be his choice. That's coming off of the heels today's announcement over there at PAX, and that is that the SNK Anniversary Collection is coming to Switch. So SNK's old Japanese developer, they did all the Neo Geo stuff. This is like all the pre-Neo Geo stuff. So think like arcade games, like real arcade, like arcade cabinets. I can't even begin to act like I know any of these games. Guerrilla War, Akari Warriors, Crystalis, Athena, Alpha Mission. I never played these games. So
yeah, I didn't either.
But yeah, they're coming to Switch, and people are going on about what that means for Virtual Console or doesn't mean for Virtual Console, but that's not what this question is. This question is collections, compilations. Which ones would you like to see come to Switch? Non-Nintendo stuff.
As far as things that I'll say one, and they're on the Vita. Well, they're PS1 classics, the Wild Arms games.
Okay.
I loved the Wild Arms games on PS1, and then PS2 with the Wild Arms 3. If the three of those were packaged and came out, doesn't even have to be HDified that much or whatever, just
out.
And I was playing the Wild Arms 1 and 2 on Vita for a bit. I did Wild Arms 3 is a PS2 classic on PS4 currently. It looks a bit rough, as I think a lot of PS2 era games can kind of look. So I haven't jumped into that, but it combines Western with JRPG. So
gotcha. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna use the news story because I think it fits now. But this is also coming off the heels that Spyro Remastered was unveiled this week, and it's coming to Xbox and PlayStation 4, and it's the Spyro the Dragon trilogy redone in all HD scaled up graphics, and it looks amazing. And I'm so excited for this.
It looks great.
And a lot of people are very upset that it's not coming to Switch, and I think rightfully so. And I do know I think it would sell very well on Switch. And at this point, I guess we don't know it's not coming. We just know it's not coming at the launch date, at least that they've already. It's not a part of the original release.
Does Activision have any games currently on the Switch aside from the Skylanders at launch?
That's a really good question. I don't know. I'll look it up. That's a really good question. I should have looked that up beforehand. I don't think so.
I can't think of any.
Because they've got Crash, but it's not out, right? It's coming.
Oh yeah, it's coming. Well, so that's but that's another one that is.
And they're rumored to have a Call of Duty coming, but I don't think they have anything on it right now besides Skylanders.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think so either. I'd love. I'd like to see if Spyro was coming day one to the Switch, same as PS4. I probably would get it on Switch.
So would I. But it is also one of those, I'm not going to wait for it either. Yep. I'm not going to wait 7 months to play Spyro. I want to play Spyro when it comes.
Yeah. And I know you were a fan of that when you were younger. I was really played it. I played it a little, but I might have played the first one. But now, with my kids, I want to play it with them, and it really looks pretty.
I think we're getting into another one of those ukulele arenas where we're going to get, I think Spyro's coming to Switch, just like Crash is coming to Switch. I don't think it's not going to come. So if you only own a Switch, I could just tell you to hold out. I think you're going to get it, and I think you'll be happy with it. But ukulele, it's just going to come so long. It's like, if you have another option, why would you wait? There's no reason to wait.
Right.
So I'm not going to wait. The answer to Trash Turkey's question that I would have, and I think I've actually said it plenty of times before already, is I'd love to see the Metal Gear HD collection come to Switch. Mm-hmm. They already have it. It's already, it was on Vita, it was on last gen. I think it's a really great collection of games in portable play these days, because Metal Gear in the day was amazing. Now it's kind of a portable game. I would rebuy it and replay it and happily play it, and I think a lot of other people would too. So thanks for the question. Those are my answers to those, and we will get into the next question, which I should already have lined up. This is what happens when Kevin's not around. Let's see here. I had him and I lost him. There we go. Dante's Belmont writes, can you live with spoilers? Says he just got his tickets for Avengers Infinity War. And have you had a game or movie spoiled, or have you been the evil doer? He said he accidentally spoiled 28 Days Later to his friends. Oh no, that's terrible. I did just finish Guardians of the Galaxy 2, continuing in my Make Devin Switch campaign. So I'm getting there. I'm starting around the third here, I think, coming to the last leg. And I can live with spoilers. I can't actually think of anything that was ever spoiled for me to the point that it bothered me. Mm-hmm. I think back when I was watching like Sons of Anarchy weekly, like I would stay off Twitter like on Tuesday nights, I think, because my wife and I were really into the narrative. But if somebody did spoil it for me, it wouldn't have been like the end of the world. I think I didn't want to be spoiled with like Star Wars. I think The Last Jedi that just came out, I think like that was one that like I went radio silent like that day because I just didn't want it to be spoiled. But I mean, to be honest with you, most of the time it doesn't really bother me.
So I haven't seen The Last Jedi yet, and now I know it's out on video. We'll rent it at some point when we have time. But I stayed, it came out December. I stayed free of spoilers for 4 months, and then about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I'm on PSXP with Tyler, and he mentions a spoiler about Luke. I'm just like, I've lasted 4 months, and
That's
you make
on
some off. Well, at the time it wasn't available to rent even, so I can't. I mean, we don't go to the movies.
Yeah, I understand that.
Last movie I saw in theaters was Power Rangers. That was because I was spending the night in a random city in Kentucky, and we decided to go see a movie, and that was the movie that was on at the time. So, we don't go see movies, but
sure.
But it really doesn't bother me. I Lost, the TV show. I didn't watch it ever, and then there was all that hoopla about how it ended, and how it was terrible, and for whatever reason I got caught up in that, and so I listened to like 20 different recaps of how it ended and why it was the worst thing ever, or why it wasn't so bad or whatnot. And then that summer, that was the first show that we ever binge watched. We watched all 6 seasons of that back to back, probably in about 6 or 7 weeks, maybe a little longer. But so there I went into it knowing how the whole thing ended. I think that if it's a good story or if it's a good game, it stinks to have something spoiled, but whatever.
Yeah.
If it's a good story, it's about the ride. It's not about whatever the spoiler is. It's not about the shock factor.
Sure.
I mean, maybe you already know that Undertaker is going to be at WrestleMania on Sunday, but if he shows up and it's awesome, who cares?
So the one interesting rumor that I've heard that I think would make it sound awesome is that they're thinking there's a rumor going around because Kid Rock is getting inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame or whatever. There's a rumor going around that they think he's going to go back to his
biker
gear turn up and all that, and there might be like a live performance. He might roll out there and just be like grizzly biker old dude, which is kind of awesome.
Yeah, that'd be pretty neat.
Yeah, that was pretty
actually the biker taker phase, which I think lined up with the first run of Brock Lesnar in the WWE. That was kind of a blind spot where I wasn't watching at that point, so I missed the whole biker taker.
Yeah, it'd be a cool nostalgic way, and it's also kind of a way for him to hide his age. He becomes more of like a brawler in that character, and it makes more sense. So it's good. Yeah. Anyway, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for writing in to the message bag. We appreciate it each and every week. Remember, you can write at us easily. You can get your questions on the show just by tweeting at us. We tweet out for questions every Friday. Or you can write us in our email, podcast@playsomvideogames.com. But now it's time to get into some news. Piggybacking off the WrestleMania theme, I would like to quickly cover that Rocket League has WrestleMania items coming during this weekend. So that's always good fun. And then now let's get into what I really want to talk about, and that's Spider-Man. Seth, Spider-Man was announced this week. It's coming. Help me remember. September.
It's coming on
6th?
September 7th.
7th. Okay, There you go. And we got some video over there from Game Informer, right? It's on the cover.
Yep, it's on the cover. Got a lot of coverage. I haven't actually looked at it yet. I'm kind of weird. We just got. So I subscribed to Game Informer magazine. And as a newspaper journalism major who likes print stuff, I don't want to read it all digitally before I can read it in my magazine. So I haven't actually read it yet or watched any of the videos, but I'm excited for it. We talked about it on PSXP when, for whatever reason, that morning we had seen a rumor that the release date might have been June 22nd. So we talked about that a bit. Of course, 4 hours later, we were proven wrong. But that's all right. But it's still coming out this year. September 7th. That's a perfectly fine date. That's a week before my birthday. So always good timing.
It's a crazy week for video games, right? Like
crazy month. We got Dragon Quest VIII, September 4th.
Tomb Raider.
Spider-Man,
well, it's Dragon Quest 11, not 8, right?
Whatever.
Yeah.
Who cares? Some dumb JRPG. Spider-Man on September 7th. Tomb Raider September 14th. Something on September 21st. What's that one?
I'm looking it up. You beat me to it. I thought you just knew it, so I was like, I'm gonna let you go. Edit it in post, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know. It's a lot. There's a lot of stuff.
Bugging me. There's a lot of stuff. It's Spyro.
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
Spyro on September 21st. And then that doesn't count. You know that NBA 2K is going to release probably on the 14th or thereabouts. NBA Live will release around then. FIFA will be at the end of the month. PES will be that month.
Wow.
Madden will have just come out at the end of August.
There'll be some Nintendo game in there.
Yeah.
Most likely.
Maybe.
Like
they ever announce anything. Watch it. It'll be Smash Brothers.
No, not in September.
Not in September. It's a crazy month. Right. There will be some Nintendo game. It'll be Yoshi, or maybe that's when Fire Emblem drops.
Yeah, something will fit in there. I think Yoshi will be out before that, but yeah, they'll put something in there. A port of something could come,
because it's a port machine.
Yeah. But if it was a Mario Galaxy HD port, everybody would buy it and nobody would care. Mo would care. Mo would be the only person who cares, but everybody else would buy it.
I wouldn't buy it.
What's with your just derailing the news for a bit? What's with your Switch disdain of late?
There's nothing out on it.
There's a bunch of stuff on it.
The only stuff on it is 2D side scrollers I could have played on Super Nintendo.
That's fair. There are a lot of 2D side-scrolling indie games coming, and a lot of them are good, but there's still a lot of them. I mean, you could Splatfest is this weekend. That was my other news story. You could play some Squid Game.
Yeah.
You got to get back into that at some point before the DLC comes. You're gonna want to play it again. You can't always give me the old game is old forever. They're gonna they've changed all of the courses since the last time you've played.
I bought the Zelda. I've played some of the Splatfests. I bought the Zelda DLC and never.
You could always play it. I'd imagine there's a bunch of games you've got on your Switch that you just haven't finished. And
I discovered a couple days ago that my 18-month-old got a hold of my Switch case. So my travel case that has my game cards in it, and my Zelda game card is missing. So I'm guessing it's somewhere in the house.
That's a no-no.
But it's missing, so I can't get to that one right now. My our television remote is also missing.
You could always have got the Kirby. Did you beat Sonic Mania?
I did not beat Sonic Mania.
You could do that. You could get the Skyrim. Yeah. You got that Labo coming.
No. The problem with Sonic Mania is it's another 2D side scroller. I'm playing Shantae right now. I think I went from Celeste to Mutant Mudds to Shantae.
You just need a palate cleanser.
And now I'm getting
like Doom.
But on the other hand, I mean, on PlayStation, I'm playing dirt bike racing, and I'm also jumping into Destiny once a week still. I occasionally jump into GT Sport because they're updating that monthly, adding new cars and tracks. So I mean, I'm doing other stuff, but when I'm on Switch, I'm playing these things. And actually, I want to watch their PAX East is going on right now, talking about some new stuff. And I forget what website it was, but it might have been Nintendo, one of the Nintendo sites, Nintendo Everything or something like that, had some footage of the King Knight DLC.
Yep.
They were playing it. And that got me excited for Shovel Knight. So I really
2D side scroller.
It's a 2D side scroller, but it's the best 2D side scroller. So after I'm done with Shantae, I might jump back in and replay Shovel Knight. I'll probably skip Plague Knight because that one's not good, and then Spectre Knight. So I don't know. I never
finished Spectre Knight.
Oh, Spectre Knight was awesome.
Finished it.
It might be better than the original Shovel Knight.
Yes, I mean there's tons of stuff that you could get into if you just wanted to get into new stuff.
Yeah, but they're just not.
You didn't do Bayonetta, right?
No, I'm not doing Bayonetta.
Okay. And you don't do none of the Lego stuff or Xenoblade or Kirby or Doom or Skyrim.
No, I want to do playing Ni no Kuni has made me want to get into Xenoblade. Even though I know that they're different. The fighting stuff is different, but I don't want to pay the full price for it.
I got you. What about that Fire Emblem Heroes? You know how much I love that game. The Fire Emblem Warriors.
Fire Emblem Warriors. Yeah, I've looked at that because it was on sale. But
all right, you're not playing your NBA on Switch no more.
No,
you gave up on that too.
I haven't. I told you, Jimmy Butler got injured.
Man, you're just in a funk.
It ruined NBA for me.
I got you. You're in a funk. That's okay though, because the Switch is going to bail you out. There's a lot more coming than you realize, which I think.
I mean, it's not like
Discord.
I've been playing the Switch.
Sure. You still got Aces. You got Captain Toad. You got Donkey Kong. They're all kinds of stuff. All kinds.
Just not like I'm not excited about it.
Yeah,
but something will happen and all.
E3 will change it. Yeah, you will be. It's just I think what it is you miss that you don't have that customary roadmap that you have in that PlayStation cycle. You're like you know everything that could possibly come to your box in the next 4 years.
The other thing that's changed in the last 2 months here is I'm hosting a PlayStation podcast weekly. Yeah. So I not that I can play everything anyway, but a lot of my thought process is on PlayStation. So I mean, I really think that's part of it too, is just that and Detroit is coming out, which I've been looking forward to for a couple years. Spider-Man, which looks awesome.
God of War is right around the corner. It ends next week or the week after next?
April 20th, 2 weeks.
Man, I can't wait.
2 weeks.
I told myself, I was like, I'm going to beat Far Cry before. There's no way I'm going to beat Far Cry so deep. There's no way. I'm going to be playing Far Cry like all year long, I think.
Yeah. I will be skipping out on God of War, but we have plenty of people on PSVG who are jumping in on that, and it looks awesome. But
okay. As I say, yeah, if you need contributors, I'll be playing it. Kyle will be playing it. I was kind of surprised you're not going to jump on God of War.
I played God of War 3 for a couple hours, and I know that this God of War
is like a reboot. Like this is not even remotely the same.
But this is a whole other topic that we talk about sometimes on Discord related to violence, gore, and and again, not that I don't play M-rated games or whatever, but I mean Detroit. I don't know. that's going to be M-rated and has.
And we're going to play that Red Dead, and it's going to be M-rated too. Like no, I got you, man. I got you. There's no need to hammer that.
And it's not a Detroit, Red Dead, Spider-Man are games I've been looking forward to for years, and they're all coming this year. So
yeah, you finally got that year. For all of it, you're saying, "Oh, I'm not excited about Nintendo." Like all of your years of waiting are finally going to pay out. You finally got all those games that you showed.
Last year was supposed to be that year for Mass Effect.
That's true.
It was a massive disappointment.
I'll never forget arguing with everybody in the Discord. I was like, dude, Horizon's totally going to outsell Mass Effect. And at least for one day, I was right. At least for one day, Donnie was right. # Donnie was right. Anyway, let's get out of here. I'm Donnie Reese. You can find me over on Twitter at Play Nintendo, as Sean Capri is deemed. Ain't no G's in Play Nintendo. This is Seth Roy. You can find him over there on Twitter at Seth is the GOAT. Right?
My PlayStation. You can find me on Twitter at Seth Joseph Roy, where I talk about a lot of different things. Or you can also follow at PSXP Podcast, where we just talk about PlayStation.
That PlayStation Podcast is good stuff. Okay. Well, I tried. Off the top of my head, I was like, I think I remember, but I didn't. So anyway, that's it for PSVG this week. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in and listening. Tell a friend. Please tell a friend about our show, our little podcast community, and all of our shows. I will be watching and probably tweeting during WrestleMania this weekend. So if anybody wants to follow or hang out with us, I'll either be in the Discord or be on Twitter Sunday night for those of you listening to the live stream. And I hope you enjoy it. Kevin will be back next week with special guests. And then I'll return back to my home over there at the Nintendo Shack, my haven. So anyway, boys and girls, remember, never stop gaming. And once again, thank you for tuning in. Have a good week.